Hello. Welcome to another video. I am your host Prasida, and today I want to talk about some of the important lessons I learned as a freelancer, as a self-starter in the last year. Those of you who are new here, I am a freelance education consultant, a leadership coach, and a content creator. 2022 was officially my second year of full time freelancing, right? And there are many lessons that one can learn only by being in that shoe for a long time. So I have decided to kind of record my journey and note down my key learnings or major takeaway in this video. I'm bringing to you three such big lessons that I will be taking away from last year, and that you will find this helpful. And if you had not been doing it in your professional life, I hope you will consider adopting them going forward. So, the first thing, I have heard this saying before somewhere, and I'm going to very loosely translate it to English as I understand it. It says, don't sit on your waiting for an opportunity to come to you. Instead, get off your and go to the opportunity yourself. And that's exactly what I did last year. So I'll share with you this little story. So, curriculum building or content development for educators is something that I want to become an expert in, but I don't have a whole lot of direct experience doing that. I had never done that as a freelancer or in any of my full time roles before that. But I know I'm determined to build my expertise in that, and I want to be one of the best content developers or curriculum builders for education landscape in the country in the next 3 years. And we all need a starting point somewhere, right? So, what I did is that I simply went to organizations which were looking for an intern or a full time employee in their content development teams at the time. And I had a very open conversation with their hiring manager. So it went something like this. So, see, this is my experience so far in education sector. I have worked with so and so companies and I did so and so projects. But say curriculum building is something that I don't have a whole lot of experience. But I think I can do it and I believe I can add value to your team. I'm looking for an opportunity to learn here. And do you think you have a space for someone like me in this particular role or in any other team of yours? And if yes, would you consider hiring me as a part time contractor? Guys, surprisingly, two out of four companies that I reached out to and had this conversation hired me. I worked with them for several months, and some of them I'm still working with. We have a fantastic relationship. I would like to believe that it was because of the transparency to begin with. I maintained that transparency throughout every step of my interview process as well. So, every round of interview, I would stress the fact that, see, I don't know everything in this field, and I'm going to see this as a great learning opportunity, but I will deliver my best. And that was exactly what I did. Some of those initial work I did with a little bit of pay cut. I was ready to make that sacrifice, and I would even go a little beyond and above my exact work commitment to help them wherever they needed. So that actually proved that I'm keen to work with them, right? And I'm grateful for their opportunity. Second lesson is outsource where you can, when you can. See, I, as a freelancer, is taking on work that the companies or businesses want to, outsource, right? Whether it's a consulting job, whether it's a search, or whether it's sort of content building or teacher training. I am dependent on the client work, what they don't want to do in house. So to say that I am now willing to outsource some of my work did sound scary to me in the beginning. But there came a time for me, I think last year, I knew I could not deliver everything that I promised or at that quality until I focused on the core aspect of the job that was most important. So here is an example again. Uh, so last year, this one company, they had seen my workshop facilitation elsewhere, how I engage with participants, how I make this workshop a whole experiential thing, and they wanted the same thing for their staff as well. So, in the past, what I would have done is to take on the work head on, do everything by myself, end to end, which includes a lot of tasks like needs analysis, employee survey, analyzing that data, going through their past performance, and making training content, and then designing the workshop experience. It's a lot of work putting together a nice workshop. And I have done all these things by myself in the past. But this time around, this particular client kept emphasizing the fact that they need that workshop experience for their staff. And you know what are some of the major things that they're expecting from me? I was very clear with that. So it's at that time that I decided I have to deliver what they are asking. I have to make an impact with this client. I need to do the job that I do very well. That means I need to outsource the rest of the work to another person or other experts. So, though I was very unsure in the beginning and frankly very doubtful, I outsourced the content creation work for that training to an expert. And I got some operational help from another freelancer. It totally freed up my time and put me in a good headspace to concentrate on what the most important thing that I needed to do. And by doing this, I got several references and I built a great relationship with this client. And another great thing that came out of this whole experience, outsourcing experience, is that the content turned out to be very, very strong. I think much stronger than what it would have been if I had done everything by myself. Because, see, this time it was put together by an expert in that particular field. So, if you are in the same situation, my suggestion would be to bring in an expert in the project and, of course, pay them well. I have personally seen the upside to this, so I hope you will remember this as well. Don't drown yourself in the entire work. In the end, make sure that your energy and focus is going to the tasks that are the most important for you and for your business. Understand what moves the needle towards your long term goals and focus on that. My third lesson, and it comes from a failure. Previous two lessons come from the successes, and this one comes from a failure. Start small, prototype, learn from it, and then expand. So, last year, I worked on a digital training. This digital course was fantastic, right? It had more than 30 modules with so many tutorials and so many reference videos and so many moving parts. At the end of 7 months of putting a lot of effort, I still wasn't reaching anywhere. I still have nothing to show for it. I realize now the problem was I was putting too much effort into something that I'm yet to figure out how to do it right. And that killed my motivation. So instead of trying to get this big training done, especially when we are doing it for the first time, what I could have done is I could have created a smaller course, perhaps, probably an hour long course with lesser modules and lesser tutorials, but use that as a learning process, an experience to know what are the technical problems that I would face, what are the marketing aspects, how can I shoot well, how can I edit well. I could have used it as a stepping stone to something bigger and better. Instead, since I tried to jump to the top of an entire staircase in the very first try, I got disappointed and dejected. And I am left with a half done, hundreds of half done videos on my camera. I really should have focused on getting a small training done and use it as a learning to create bigger and better courses in future. So that's what I am planning to take away, and I'm planning to do this year. I will be working on smaller digital courses and then slowly work my way up to bigger courses and larger courses that would be catered to larger audiences. So these are my three lessons that I am taking away from the last year. You let me know in the comments what were your learnings, or did you find anything valuable in this conversation if you're able to relate to anything I have said so far. Do let me know your comments, and I will see you in the next one.